Hi, welcome to our homes. This is Roger and Lou, and today we'd like to have a discussion about who's your anchor. I am Lou Urban. I'm a transformational coach and energy worker. I concentrate primarily on healing people's energy blockages, and my co-host is.
I'm Roger Dawson. I'm a certified law of attraction life coach and hypnotherapist, and also do some energy work as well. So welcome to our homes, like Lou said. Looking forward to this conversation.
Absolutely. So we wanted to have a little discussion about who's your anchor. This topic came up because of our having a discussion about support system. What does it mean to have support? And who is that person who really anchors you in your purpose? Roger, do you have some thoughts about this?
Well, I do. So, I would tell you probably 10 years ago, 5 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, I would have told you that my anchor would be, my best friend, so-and-so, or, might be my mom or my dad or something else besides something external to me. And today I would probably tell you, I would start with myself and really, trying to make the connection and alignment to source. And there's ways to do that. I'm happy to share with that. But that's kind of where my head's at on this topic, Lou. What's your take on this?
Well, that anchor to me means that it is that person or entity or force, whatever you want to say, that really keeps you on purpose. It balances, it stabilizes, it instead of being adrift, you're at least anchored on the path that you're supposed to be on. And when I think about it from that perspective, I totally agree with you, Roger. Years ago, I would have said support system was all the people external to me that, friends, family, certainly the person who's a primary relationship with, those people are all, that's what I would have pointed to as my support system. And probably the one who was the most influential would have been my anchor. But now things have so changed for me. I'm much more in the same place that you are, that support begins with ourselves, that we support ourselves first and foremost. And that anchor to me has become source. That's the place where I go to make sure I'm on the right path. Lead me on the right path. Make sure I'm balanced. Make sure I'm doing what I am, my life purpose is, if you will.
Right. Right. It is interesting because so many people will ask, ask a friend or whoever you view this anchor as, or whoever the expert is in a certain area that maybe it's a career thing, and you have your career anchor is your mentor, and you've worked with them for 12 years. And so, should I take maybe this next career move or leave the company or whatever? You kind of go there as a anchor to kind of get a guide. And one of the things that you said, Lou, that really struck me is a way to say it is making that connection with the divine or source or God, whatever it is that you believe in, and really asking, what should I do in maybe taking another career or whatever, my example here, and then listening to the intuitive hit nudge on what to do, because ultimately we know the answer, and who knows, it's kind of like somebody you keep getting all these signs from the universe saying, hello, 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 and we'll go ask somebody else and they tell you to do the opposite of what maybe all the signs are leaning toward. Right? You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. And the way that I would describe that is that I lean in to source. It's like knowing that source has me no matter what, that there is that relationship there, that support that's there. And that's really where I go when I say that's the anchor. That's part of it for me too, is that knowing, not just understanding, but actually knowing in your heart that source has your back.
Right. And I think the tricky thing is that probably the trusting to listen to what source is telling you, or what the anchor is providing that support.
Yes.
You know, a lot of the gurus will say, oh, gee, if you had a bad day, you know, go meditate, you know, get yourself alone, what have you. And you're like, well, how do you do that? You know, and they make it sound so simple. Well, of course, you know, life's happening all around you, like the 4th of July, fireworks going off. And I think that it is true. Whenever I've had a really rough day, I just know that if I can go to a meditation, and I may not be able to do that, but you know, if I can just go to bed, press the reset button, get up the next day, and start fresh, right? So
overnight processing.
Right. It is incredible. We're so blessed that we get that every single day. Now, certainly you can bring up the gunk from the day before, or hours for whatever, but we are just blessed beings that we're able to do that reset and go into our anchor and really make that connection and come out stronger, and move on with the experience we've had.
You brought up a really good point, Roger, and you brought it up twice, and about listening to that inspiration that really comes through. You know, we have the verbal conversation. You know, when we go back 3 or 5 years, or whatever we want to say, when the support system was external to us, we heard verbally from everyone what we should do and how we should do it in order to be happy, right?
Our mom and dad.
We got that information. And now that you and I are in that space of listening to self, listening to source, looking for that inspiration, you're right. It does take a little bit to be able to really trust in that message that's coming through, because we don't hear it. We don't hear it external. We don't see it external.
And you know what? You really, when you do listen to your inner self, your inner being, to source, and you do what you believe you've heard the intuitive hit to be, you never get it wrong. Because if it doesn't result in where you ultimately had wanted it to, it has brought you down a journey that's created an experience, helped you create contrast to determine, oh, gee, let's course correct, because I really want to go this way. So you never got it wrong.
No, absolutely not. You know, whether you listen to it, and I'll say that whether you listen to it or not, that's all part of the plan too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right.
You know, I mean, if you don't listen to it, then you're supposed to have the experience that you have. If you listen to it, then you're supposed to have that experience instead.
Yeah.
It's all good. It's just that I think that our lives are, if you look at birth to death, it's a straight line, and you say there's a straight line in between the two, right? Okay. And if we listen to our inspiration, we're running a straighter path than if we don't. If we don't, we're going to skew off, and we're going to come back. Something will happen, and we'll come back. And I mean, it's a much more windy path. And, you know, maybe that's supposed to be part of our experience. But if we do listen to that inspiration, we are more on the path than by not listening to it.
Right. You know, and then there's this trust factor in there too, because, oh my God, what if mom and dad said, you know, you should go to this college, and intuition was saying you should go to this college, and, you know, mom and dad say, well, we're not going to pay if you go to this college instead of the one we want to go to. You know, well, what do? You know, well, I would say you should listen to intuition. You're right. You never get it wrong, because if you listen to intuition, you're probably going to get maybe to your ultimate desire of whatever it is, maybe a little bit faster. But if you listen to your mom and dad, you're going to go down a different journey that's going to build a depth of knowledge on how to get to the ultimate destination that you're desiring.
What just came up, that's awesome, Roger. What just came up for me around that is that we are in that, we're allowing abundance in our lives a lot more by listening to that intuition. Because when we listen to source, it's going to turn out better than what we ever imagined. So your example where, mom and dad will pay for college if you go here. But if you go over here, mom and dad aren't going to pay for it. Well, you decide to go over here. Well, who says that in going there, you meet the best friend of your life, you meet your future partner, you meet a whole bunch of people who love and support you and help you to get that job, that dream job. You never know what's really all in store when you listen to that inspiration from source, because source is going to lead you to better things than you ever imagined.
Yeah. And when it's interesting because as I've been in that situation, I put up all these limiting beliefs that I would ever want to go, certainly against my mom and dad's wishes, but actually follow that intuition. And then it's the what if I'm wrong? What if this? What if that? What if I can't pay for college myself? When you trust and you allow, source will provide beyond expectation and blow you out of the water. Yeah.
Absolutely. The experience.
But it's a gamble too, right?
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So that's right. That's where you have to understand the inner workings of these universal laws and how to create it. And we're creating as we speak. This whole thing we're now doing is a manifestation of something we created, and we brought energy to it. Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the thing that I was just thinking about was that there's also that relationship too. When you're looking external to you, you have relationships with other people, yes, okay? But the relationship with self and with source, when you cultivate those kind of relationships, source will support you more than you ever support source. So by trusting and leaning in, there's even going to be a greater abundance that's going to come from that. So yes, we need to have those external relationships. I'm not saying that. We absolutely do. We need support from others, but
yeah.
I don't think you and I are saying either or. I think we're saying but in that support, who really is your primary support? That should be the relationship that you want to cultivate the most.
Right. Because, I agree. And, matter of fact, source could certainly deliver a messenger that is a person, right? And that person maybe is your mom and dad telling you that you should go to this college instead of that one, right? And so that's where, it's, you really just never get it wrong. We don't really live in a wrong and right world. We live in a world of abundance and being.
Yes.
And it's all part of the journey. And that sounds so woo-woo, but it really is true. And whether you would choose to believe that or not, just by choosing not to believe it, you got it right. Where if you choose to believe it, you got it right. And that's the thing that I think that, all the people that talk about the secret this, the secret that, kind of play on that. And because everything's a secret, right? Ultimately, our connection, and the things we choose, right? It can be somewhat of a mystery.
Yes, absolutely. So since you said the secret, Roger, what is the secret? What is the secret to support? Did I put you on the spot? Should I tell you what
Connecting. Well, sure. I'd love to hear you. I'll tell you what mine is. But go ahead, tell me.
One of the 7 essential laws. Is that right? Did I say that right?
Essential. I've heard essential. I've heard universal. But I know what you're saying.
Universal. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. The 7 universal laws. Allowing. That's really the key. We can get support from multiple places, in many different ways, as long as we allow. If you walk the road alone, you have no support. Yeah. Take people along on your journey. Take source along on your journey.
Yeah, and don't and don't be afraid to live in that spiritual closet of, I'm getting to where I'm starting to talk to my my beings that follow me around, and my guardian angels, you hear that term, guides, whatever, as I make my connection. Matter of fact, I will just tell you, so it's, there is something very energetic going on right now as we're moving toward this full moon cycle. I just have all kinds of little entities or beings that are just like going crazy on my neck. I mean, it feels like goosebumps
Awesome.
of recent. But I want to go back to answer your question. So for me, this really is about connecting with myself and recognizing that I have a whole support system, and some of that stems from the fact that I am an only child, and so I have always had pretend characters, and looking now as an adult, those probably were maybe my guides throughout life, the people that protected me, all the source guardian angels that were right there for me to be my audience. And I have different ways that I go about connecting with them, with meditation, going to sleep that I mentioned. Finally, not being afraid to talk. People probably think I'm crazy and talking to myself, right? But literally, it is just always being at peace of being one and making that connection, knowing that I have a support system.
Oh, Roger. I wanted to share a joke with you. I just remembered a joke that was
what's that?
About talking to yourself. You can talk to yourself and you can answer yourself. That doesn't mean you're crazy. It's when you say, huh, in between that you're crazy.
I might be crazy. I'm just telling you. No, but I'm serious, and I don't know why I felt compelled to share with you about all of this energy going on. It's just, wow. It's just really, anyway.
27.
I tell you,
27.
When you feel it,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
I was just going to comment that 2017 is, the start of the awakening. And so there is a lot of energy that's going on, realignment of energy this year. And I see it as well in many different ways. So
it's been, anyway, which kind of goes along. There's your support system, Roger. Hello.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? Yeah. You can probably tell I'm on vacation.
Yes.
Different energy today. But anyway, yes. So what else are your thoughts on your support system?
Support system and anchor, I still go back to that anchor is source. Support system is both internal, external, my guides as well. But my anchor still has been since I recognized that I do have that connection to source. I mean, that's part of what we wake up to, I think. Since I've had that, source has been my anchor.
Yeah. If that anchor catches a wind, it kind of goes one or the other, it kind of always kind of brings you back to the center of the anchor, right? So
Exactly. Yeah. So how about you, Roger? Any final thoughts?
Final thoughts. Get to be very comfortable with calling on the anchor for guidance. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wise words there, my
friend. You can't get it wrong.
Absolutely.
So that's my final words. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us for this conversation. If you'd like to know more about Roger, you can certainly reach out to him through his website at rogerkdawson.com. And if you'd like to know more about me, you can reach out to me at louurban.com. Thanks so much for joining us. Namaste.
Namaste.